This is my mascot. He's pretty cute. He's got a lot of flair, a lot of color. He's very beautiful. I think it was a good idea conceptually, but he's also AI generated. And I figured if I was going to make a channel about original work and stories and content, I should rectify this. And that's what the first video of this channel is going to be about. It's going to be about me drawing and redesigning this character from scratch. So I guess I should probably preface with, why did I make him AI generated in the first place? Initially, it was just to have something. It was just to have some kind of logo or idea that I could use out of the gate, and then kind of work from there once my skills got better. But what I started realizing, though, was the more I waited for my skills to get better, the more that character stayed there. So that wasn't exactly helpful. So I decided, just go for it. Just do what you can, and the rest will kind of work out on its own. Now, the original concept for that character wasn't... AI didn't come up with that, I did. Because I really like the idea of a salamander with an aurora borealis, or northern lights, coming out of his tail. And the back, and just to give it kind of an axolotl flair, those little hairs that they've got on the back of the head. So that was originally what I was going to go with, and that's what Midjourney spit out. But it's funny, the more I looked at AI, the more it just kind of felt like the same thing over and over again. And it wasn't even like AI has a certain style, it just feels like AI just rehashes a lot of stuff. So, I'm probably going to get flack for this. What am I not going to get flack for? But AI art now almost feels like Thomas Kincaid's art, where it's just like, if you've seen one, you've seen them all. At least that's what I feel about it. And, I decided, well, if this is an original idea, it should be from me, regardless of my skill set. And you're going to see a lot of ups and downs and all arounds in this video. You might be noticing right now that there are just random ink streaks. That's an example of my lack of skills and knowledge. I tried to erase the pencil markings for this without letting the ink dry first, so it just kind of smeared as my reference photo. And then the printer that I was going to use to scan this in wasn't working, so I just decided to take a picture of my phone, upload it to Krita, and then I realized that the pen didn't matter because I had to re-ink the whole thing just to make sure that the colors didn't bleed over the lines. So, there is a lot of error, and there is a lot of, amateur effort put into this. But at the same time, it's my effort, If it's my idea, it's also my effort. And I come to appreciate that in a way that I just didn't before. I don't think that... How do I put this without getting my ass kicked? I'm not too worried about AI, more than I am worried about the people using AI. I don't think a lot of people who use AI are thinking the bigger picture or have the best intentions. And I think creatives are kind of right in the middle of the crosshairs for that, because it's easy to use this to replace something that a lot of people consider as very unimportant in the grand scheme of things. Right? You can't really use AI to replace search and rescue, according to some people, but you can use it to replace a graphic designer. And that's what a lot of people's logic are. And so, a lot of people don't see AI as that big of a deal, but if you're in the creative community, this is like doomsday in the works. But, I don't know, call me stupid, but I actually find it really hopeful, because I think AI will push creatives to be creative in a way that we've never seen before, as a way to counteract against this. Kind of in the same way that I think the camera influenced a lot of painting movements after that, because what good is a realistic portrait of yourself when you could just take a picture of it? So I think because of the camera, we got movements like abstract expressionism and cubism and all that. And I'm expecting something similar to happen with AI. I think we as a human race are just a little too resilient to let AI control everything. I think we're way too determined for that. So now that that's my AI spiel, I should probably explain what this drawing is and kind of how it pertains to the company name, or not company name, but the channel name, and why I chose that channel name. But I wanted to do a salamander, and the salamander's name is Kit, and it's after my great-grandfather. Because when I was 5, maybe 6, he sat me down and he told me about this poem that he just kind of made up on the spot when he was a kid about a salamander. And, being 5 or 6, I thought that was the coolest thing on the planet. But he didn't preface with that he came up with it, because he went, who wrote that poem? Sorry, he was from the Deep South, and I can't do a Deep South accent. But I shake my head and I go, no. And he goes, well, I did. And that blew my mind, because that was the that instance was the moment that I realized that anybody could be a storyteller. Anybody can be creative and artistic. And it's not just limited to celebrities or people that you hear on the radio or on TV. Anybody can do this. And so that's a really, really cool... that was just such a cool realization, and it influenced everything about this channel, which is also why it's called the Borealis Company. It's the idea that storytelling and the way that you can tell a story exists on just this crazy spectrum of diversity and colors and all of that. So I wanted to portray that in the channel. And I'm sure somebody in the comments is going to kick my ass and say that, if that was the case, why did you use AI in general? Well, I was curious. And I don't believe in black or white thinking. I wanted to see what this was like, and I started to realize more and more that I didn't have a lot of faith in the people that were building the AI, in a sense. It's almost like I don't hate the tool more than I hate the user, and it just became more apparent to me that original work, no matter how good or bad it is starting to become a lot more valuable. I believe that, the more perfect AI art gets, the more valuable imperfect human art is going to get. I really do believe that. And I think we're going to start to see that more and more. And, sure, corporations and businesses will pivot to whatever they think is going to sell, right? Right now, AI is just, the sexy thing on the market right now. So I'm sure once the tides turn, it'll be a little bit different. But yeah. And, when you look at these two side by side, mine is terrible. It's absolutely terrible. The line art is shitty. The color palette could be a lot better. And just everything about it is atrocious. And I remember when I was making this, I started thinking about all of the people that would give me shit about this. And it was like, it wasn't just rage baiters on YouTube, which frankly, I feel like because I admitted that I used AI even when I replaced it, people are going to hate me for that, which I guess that's just the way of the world now. But I was so self-conscious about this. It was getting to the point where I was hearing like old customers from my first job telling me that I should be embarrassed to be working there. But at the end of the day, yeah, this is not a good drawing, but it's 100% human. And all things considered, I can say this with a new level of appreciation now, but that's really fucking cool. And I think that's a good way to kind of kickstart this channel too.